Hi, my name is Grace, and this is my short documentary on the intersectionality of mental health struggles here at Pace University. I am a white, pansexual female, middle-class female, and I don't really know how to make documentaries, but I'm really passionate about this, so I got some people from around campus, and we're gonna make it happen. So let's see how it goes.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Shay. I'm an Indian middle class woman. I identify as pansexual. I really like the ocean, and I struggle with mental health.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Graham. I'm a middle class straight black male, and I love anime, but I struggle with mental health problems.
Hi, I'm Harley. I'm a white bisexual middle class woman. I like to dance and I struggle with mental health.
Yay. Go.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm a straight white man. I'm middle to lower middle class. And a fun fact about me is that I'm in a band called Blotter, and I struggle with feelings of anxiety since I've gotten here, and just overall pressure that I place upon myself.
Howdy, my name's Lily Shaner. I am a transgender lesbian female, white, American middle class, wow. And I'm in a band called Snuff the Weasel. Buy my merch.
So the way my gender, I would say, affected my mental health the most is because I always tended to like boyish clothes and my brother's clothes more than mine. And I used to get a lot of comments about that from my family growing up, so I kind of never liked the way I dressed, and then I started just like wearing like oversized stuff and things like that. But yeah, I got over it eventually because I know I look cool as fuck, but like it was definitely hard to hear all those comments, especially when you're like developing and in high school and like everyone looks cool, and then your parents are like, why do you look like a boy today?
So growing up as a male with mental illness, I felt like I had to move on from my problems very quickly. I couldn't just sit there and just understand my own emotions. I had to just throw them back and just keep moving and just like keep smiling.
So, as a woman, being sexualized is what has affected my mentality. Just like feeling like your worth is only about like your body and not your personality, and feeling like that's all that matters.
So my experience as being a man when it comes to relation to mental health has always really been that one thing I've really consistently noticed with my brothers, my father, is an inability to express emotion, and really the idea that expressing emotion is a sign of weakness, and that is something that even now I don't like to do. And my dad, up until very recently, when he goes into a depressive episode, you can notice, but he will never tell you. And very similar things with my brothers. And also, I've never been in a fully depressive episode, but if I was, I feel like I wouldn't communicate it well either.
Go.
My gender has been the biggest thing that messes with my mental health. My family doesn't suck about it. My dad kind of sucks about it though. So essentially, having to fight to be the gender that you are really sucks. So moral of the story is, if your kids are trans, don't be a prick.
Something concerning my mental health and my race is that I have brown colored skin, and so when things like 9/11 or like any sort of terrorist attacks happen, I feel, my family feels it, I feel like there's a change in atmosphere. I'm from Maryland, so I used to go to DC a lot. I feel like there's a change in atmosphere in like the capital area when like they see people like us. Other than, I would say that.
Being black, I feel like there wasn't very like good support systems. I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone. Not that my parents were just like that and like they wouldn't support me. It's just like I never heard about it. Like I hardly ever talked to my dad if he had any problems, or my mom. So it's like that topic is very like undermined for me as a black male, and I feel like that was just like one of the struggles I had to go through.
Go.
So the way that my race has really affected me mentally is that it gives me a weird divide where I know problems that I should be fighting for or against, but I don't think it's my place to fight for those problems because because like I can only do so much. Like it's almost it's almost a feeling of, should I stand on the sidelines and cheer, or should I try and be in the fight? It's a very it's very nerve-wracking, and it's very hard to deal with. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to say, "Oh, I don't like politics; it makes me upset," but that's a privileged view. So, it's really strange coming to grips with the privilege that you have, and then also realizing that that privilege has really affected you more than you ever could really know. So growing up, my family, we always considered ourselves middle class, but I really didn't know the demographics of how much, like what wealth we have or anything. Apparently, we were rather more well off than I really understood. And, but that class sort of idea really was like, it wasn't really cemented in me until I came to college and I realized that my family is more well off. And hearing my dad's takes on politics, economics, whatever, it's sort of it's interesting and strange at the same time, and it does affect my mental health, but not as much as some other things. But definitely having that sort of being the class that I am really makes me think. I don't know. It's almost like down. Like I'm sort of down and out almost. Like I don't have my parents' wealth, and I don't have my parents' class, but I'm my parents' daughter type deal. Like I wouldn't consider myself now anymore middle class because of the facts that I am sort of getting out of my family's like care in a way, but not at the same time. So class is really it's mainly confusing but life is confusing, so that affects the mental health.
So in terms of class and just really my finances when it comes to my mental health is, so I grew up with, my father was a construction worker, so during some times we would have good amount of money if he had work available, and if not, then not really at all. And so especially recently with student loans and all that, I obsessively check things like the job market for my major and just overall the like calculating the debt, calculating monthly payments and that, and I really obsess over that, and I would say that that is my number one cause for anxiety in my life.
So for class, before my dad died, he was the only one in the family who had a job and like could provide us money. So after that, like it was kind of a mental health struggle for me to have to worry about like how we were gonna get money. Like obviously we get it from the government now, but like for a long period of time, I was worried that like we would be kicked out of our house or like something like that.
So I've never been diagnosed with anything. But that is for one reason and one reason only. I have never been to any kind of person to diagnose me. I've been in therapy for a little over a year, but it's more of counseling, and I've always thought of, and it's been a thing. Like my family always, my mother was working, my father was working. Don't talk to my dad about mental health struggles. Talk a little bit to my mom. It would make her upset. I never talked to her that much. So like most of my own diagnoses have been sort of not necessarily self-diagnoses, but like, hey, I'm really feeling this way, and then people are like, maybe this, or like when I met Shay, she was like, oh no, you're definitely neurodivergent, and I was like, what? She was like, I've been around this shit all my life, like I can kind of tell, and I was just like, now because I always kind of had the feeling that like something was up. Not necessarily wrong because it's not wrong, but something was up, and yeah.
So my diagnoses, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, depression, panic disorder, and I'm also a K-pop fan.
I don't have an official diagnosis right now, but I do have some symptoms and signs of OCD, and so I want to get that checked out in the future. Also, very unfortunately, I am a Weezer fan.
I'm diagnosed with autism, ADD or ADHD, and depression and anxiety.
So I'm not diagnosed with anything specifically, but I feel like I struggle with anxieties, and I've been in my head a lot. Overthink everything, and I'll just run my life through second guesses.
I would find the nearest bottle and make some art. That's it.
So for me, it's one of the biggest reasons why I love anime. I grew up with it and it was just in my childhood, so it was kind of one of the things I could go to just to, like, forget about life and all my troubles. And I also play soccer and with my friends. It's just like for me, it wasn't really attacking the source of the problem, I feel like. It was kind of just like hopping into my own world and just experiencing something else and like all the troubles of life.
So, like, to cope, I would like go on drives or listen to music, talk on the phone with my friends. Also, like, having pets is like really good for that because, like, just like, you know, if you really want to escape like anything happening, you just like cuddle with your dog.
I would smoke a lot of weed and stay in my room at least 90% of my time, and I wouldn't talk to many people, and I would go to work, come home, and spend all my money on weed and food.
I hang out with my friends and I talk to people, and yeah, I cope. Shut up, I cope.
Okay, so my main strategy would be meditating. I got into it when I was in senior year of high school, and I kept it up since when I got here to college. And I felt like it's really helped me a ton with just like handling the thoughts that I had in my head throughout the day. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of marijuana and some drink gets you right.
Since I've gotten to college, it's pretty much the same. Although I will say I do think I reach out to other people more often now than I did in the past.
Yo, also my friends and my therapist, I obviously love them, and they help me more than they know. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
The biggest lesson I've learned in my journey so far is that I need to find community, but also I need alone time. And I really like my friends, so that helps.
So like the biggest thing I've taken away was that it's all right. It happens to everyone, and we're all unique, so our problems won't be the exact same, but we're all going through something, and that's just the biggest thing that helped me.
So, to get through it, kind of just like having friends to talk to, and then also just like knowing that you're not alone, that everybody else is going through something similar, so you don't have to feel like it's the end of the world or like you're the only one who's experiencing it.
I say the number one lesson that I've learned when it comes to mental health is that you really just don't understand what other people are going through until you actually take the time to really listen, and really putting yourself in other people's shoes, the most important thing. I think the number one time that I really learned this is it was junior year, and there was a lower classman. We were both in we were both in the theater department, and I came up to him and I would have a running joke where I'd be like, "Hey, have a great freaking rest of your day." It was a stupid joke, but I said that to him, and he said, "I can't be mad at you." He walked up and he hugged me, and he said he just had a panic attack 10 minutes before. And so that really taught me a lot about just always treating other people with compassion, even if they might not be treating you like that.
Golden rule it. That's the only way anyone can be a morally good person, is if you see life and you say, if I was in that person's shoes, how would I feel? Like it's all like everyone's like, oh, that's that pussy shit. But it's really just a matter of being a not shitty person. And if you aren't a shitty person and you think and you have a little bit of empathy towards others, then you will ultimately be fulfilled. And I have been more fulfilled being friendly and being happy with people than I have, of course, been on my own. That's other thing. But it's all about helping people and being as good a person to whoever you possibly can meet, because this life is short and it's kind of wasting it to be an asshole and to be super selfish. Action.
Hello. Thank you for watching my documentary style video. I hope you enjoyed all of the different Pace University student personal interviews, and learned about the intersectionality of their mental health concerning their gender, race, sexuality, class, and personal experiences. I definitely learned a lot. And I think it's beautiful to explore, you know, the personal thought processes of the people around you that you might not think about. So I hope this inspires you to ask your friends how they're doing and what they do to cope. Thank you. Mwah.